Okay, good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the March 24th, 2022 regular meeting of the Code Enforcement Board of Seminole County. I'd like for Madam Clerk to go ahead and do a roll call first.
Rob Wolfram. Dudley Bates.
Here.
Ellen Patton.
Here.
Don Peterson.
Here.
Dennis Warren.
Here.
Jane Hames.
Here.
Yvette Brown.
Here.
Thank you.
Can you talk to her?
We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the swearing in of witnesses. So when we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, if you're going to be testifying today, please stand, and we're going to have the clerk swear you in. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if you're going to be testifying, I need you to stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth? Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to start by suggesting to our board that we revise the agenda in order to take care of the people that are here first today. And then after we take care of those cases, we'll follow through with the rest of the remaining cases. And that would be revise it to start with case number 22-11, which is can be found on page 2. Excuse me. It's Ernest Timonello, followed by cases number 2167, 2169, and 2170. Those can be found on page 7 and 8, and they are all for Thomas McElhay, all three of those cases. Do I have a motion to revise the agenda in that order?
Mr. Chairman, can I ask?
Yes.
One just arrived. It's on page 3.
Okay.
It's items 21-33 and 2134. Jamie Worstell.
Okay, and then we will follow it with the case that was just announced. Can I get a motion to revise the agenda in that order?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bates, second by Ms. Hames. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay, what's going to happen here today, folks, is your case is going to be called up. When you hear a case called, if you could walk up and have a seat in one of these two chairs, and then the code enforcement officer who has your case will be presenting your case. You'll then be given the opportunity to go ahead and offer anything you have, any recommendations or requests. And please direct all your comments to the board here. These are the folks that will be deciding your case. And we'll start with case number 22-11 on page 2 of your agenda. That is Ernest Timonello, Law Offices of John Massey, 673 St. Johns River Drive, Sanford, 32773. And ma'am, could I have your name?
My name is Eileen Martinez. I'm an attorney with the law offices of John DeMassey, and I represent Sanford Place Homeowners Association.
Okay, so they're not a party to the case. You're here as a witness?
No, sir, I'm just here representing the interests of the Homeowners Association.
Okay, is this a foreclosure?
Well, we...
Okay. 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 Officer Bavaro.
Thank you. Officer Bavaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. For the record, I submitted a copy of the PowerPoint presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2211 CEB, Ernest Teminello. Property is located at 673 St. Johns River Drive. The violation charges Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, defined in 95.3G, which is an unsecured swimming pool. Initial inspection was conducted on 9/14 of '21. Notice was issued on 10/1/21. Compliance date of 10/20/21. Most recent inspection as of today, 3/24/2022, revealed that the unsecured pool remained on the property. Images you're about to see accurately depict the violations on the dates in which they were taken. This one on 9/14 of '21. This one on 10/16 of '21. And on 3/9 of 2022. Now, we did respond out. I've spoken with the tenant at the property several times, and I've also spoken to the homeowner regarding the issue. From my understanding, they are spouses who have separated. The tenant resides on property, the homeowner does not. Kind of both of them point back and forth on who's supposed to be securing this pool. Like I said, I've communicated, at least 5 times with either two parties, and still today the pool's unsecured. So based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2211 CEB, is determined that the respondent, Ernest Teminello, is the owner of record of the property located at 673 St. Johns River Drive, in possession and control of the property, and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, defined in 95.3G. Requesting the board issue an order for compliance on April 7th, 2022. In order to comply, they must secure the unsecured swimming pool, or a fine of $250 a day be imposed. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Bavaro?
Just for clarification, did I see that that's an above-ground pool?
It's an above-ground pool, but it is maybe a foot or two in ground. So there's a little bit of it that's sunken into the ground. And they were attempting to secure it with a baby gate. It was put up there not so secured, and then in the next image that I presented, it was a little bit better, and since then, no progress has made. If you look towards the back side of the pool, so the south side of the pool, that whole area is completely exposed. So they didn't get too far with the baby gate. Regardless, that gate's not secured as it is, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, Officer Bavaro? Okay, Ms. Martinez, this is your opportunity to speak to this.
Yeah, so my client, the Homeowners Association, has on or about July 2021 filed a foreclosure action based on a claim of lien placed on the property. We're at the point of filing a motion for summary judgment and possibly obtain title to the property, and at that point, the association can secure the property. The association's concern is any claim of lien that may be placed on the property. We'd like an opportunity to push forward with that motion for summary judgment in order to avoid any other liens on the property. We don't know if there's a way that perhaps our office can work with you all and reconvene perhaps within 45 to 60 days. We think we can get the motion for summary judgment filed and possibly a hearing by then, and hopefully have title to the property very soon thereafter. We're just trying to avoid any claim of lien being placed on the property, and we're hoping to work with you in order to do that.
How long has your foreclosure action been going on?
The complaint was filed on or about July 19th, 2021.
So you've had how long to get this done, knowing it's an issue?
The swimming pool?
Or even your action, knowing that there's a swimming pool issue, a code enforcement issue going on?
As far as we know, usually our homeowners associations, we don't recommend our associations enforce self-help, if you will, especially when the association doesn't have title to the property. If it's
I was talking about expressing and fast-passing your litigation. Why has it been going since last summer? If you're getting summary judgment, you could have gotten summary judgment several months ago.
Ma'am, I wish I could answer that question. I am not the attorney involved in the litigation, but I do have confidence in the members of my firm. And I know that they work diligently and expeditiously to get all matters heard. The last that I saw, recent motions have been filed to ensure that no other parties of interest have made any affirmative defenses, and that they're moving forward with the motion for summary judgment. I have been assured that that motion will be filed very soon. And again, we're happy to reconvene and provide the status of that motion if the board is willing.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Bates?
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, while all this is pending, is that pool temporarily secured, halfway secured, wide open? What is the status right now?
If you reflect back to the images that were last taken, this is the state of the pool as of today as well. This reflects the same situation. As policy, we do not go on private property that's occupied to temporarily secure a pool. We will for a vacant parcel, but we will not go on property for an occupied structure. So this is occupied, less than halfway secured, to answer your question.
So in the meantime, any neighborhood kid could go fall in there and die tomorrow, this
Right.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the officer's recommendations.
Second.
A motion to approve the officer's recommendations by Ms. Patton, second by Ms. Hames. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? So that's what we've done. We've approved. You have, I believe it was till April,
Seventh.
somebody has till
Seventh.
April 7th to get this fixed. It'll be a fine of $250 per day that will kick in.
Tell the people in your office, we said hop to it, Skippy.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it sounds like the parties aren't opposed to getting the thing fixed. They just don't, they want the other one to do it. You might just want to say, hey, how about if we do it? Just a thought. So,
Thank you, sir.
anyway, okay, thank you. Moving on to the next three cases, same respondent, can be found on pages 7 and 8. Case number 2167, 2169, and 2170. Thomas H. McElhaney, that's 823 Mazurka Drive, Juliota, Florida, 32766. Officer Hill.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, East Region. This is case 2167 CEB, Thomas H. McElhaney, located at 823 Mazurka Drive in Juliota. The violation charge with Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3F. This case, which was originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on September 23rd, 2021, and an order was issued given the respondent compliance date of October 24th, 2021. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by myself after the reinspection on September 14th, 2021. Based on the facts, the findings of fact, conclusions of law and order issued on September 23rd, 2021, the Code Enforcement Board issued an order imposing a lien in the amount of $37,750 for 151 days of noncompliance from October 25th, 2021 through and including March 24th, and the fine shall continue to accrue at $250 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after March 24th, 2022.
Thank you. And let me add, this is a lien request, and this is case number, we're only hearing right now, case number 2167. And sir, I forgot to ask your name and your relationship to the case.
My name is Joe Tarmina. I'm the attorney for the property owner.
Thank you. Okay, again, this is a lien request. Do we have any questions for Officer Hill? Seeing none, Mr. Termino, this is your opportunity to speak on behalf of this.
Thank you. I think this picture probably does accurately reflect the most recent status of the pool. The homeowner has tried to drain the pool, obviously. They also have ordered a cover for the pool to fix the stagnant water issue. The cover has arrived, but I'm told actually that this one won't be this cover that showed up won't be satisfactory. So they've reordered a different cover to try to fix the stagnant water. They're requesting just a little bit of an extension before imposing the lien in order to just get compliant. I think they're a few steps away from compliance on this particular violation. So their just only request is maybe a continuance for a couple weeks until they can get a cover or get it completely emptied.
I suggest you hear all three cases.
Okay. Okay, we're going to, I'll give you the opportunity to speak again. We're going to hear the next two cases as well. 21-69, same case, same respondent, same address, Officer Hill.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement, East Region. This is case 2169 CEB, Thomas H. McElhaney, located at 823 Mazurka Drive in Chuliota. Violation charged with Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3E, abandoned vehicles. This case, which originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on September 23, 2021, and an order was issued given the respondent a compliance date of October 24, 2021. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by myself after a reinspection on September 14, 2021. An affidavit of compliance was filed by myself after reinspection on March 10, 2021. Based on the findings of fact, conclusions of law and order issued on September 23, 2021, I'm asking the Code Enforcement Board issue an order imposing a lien in the amount of $13,600 for 136 days of noncompliance from October 25, 2021 through and including March 9, 2022 at $100 per day.
Thank you. And then case number 21-70, same respondent, same address.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement, East Region. This is case 2170 CEB, Thomas H. McElhaney, located at 823 Mazurka Drive in Chuliota. Violation charge with Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3A, rubbish. This case, which originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on September 23, 2021, and an order was issued giving the respondent a compliance date of October 24, 2021. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by myself after reinspection on September 14, 2021. An affidavit of compliance was filed by myself after a reinspection on March 14, 2022. Based on the findings of fact, conclusions of law and order issued on September 23, 2021, I'm asking the Code Enforcement Board to issue an order imposing a lien in the amount of $7,000 for 140 days of noncompliance from October 25, 2021 through and including March 13, 2022 at $50 per day.
Thank you. Again, any questions for Officer Hill?
I just want to clarify, you said you issued orders of compliance or affidavit of compliance? Okay.
Compliance, affidavit of compliance.
So two are non-compliance, one's in compliance.
An affidavit. So this one is in compliance, the stagnant pool is not in compliance, and the inoperable vehicles is in compliance. So there's two in compliance, one non.
Okay.
Items 8 and 9 are in compliance. Those are the last two, so you should probably give him an opportunity to address those two first, and then make your decision on granting additional time to come into compliance in item number 7.
I'm sorry, what ones did you say are in compliance?
8 and 9, so on page 8 and 9, those two are in compliance. The county's just seeking liens because they were out of compliance for a time period.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I thought that was
Yep.
correct. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so property owner would just request that the board does not impose any any liens. They are into compliance with both of these. Vessels have been removed, rubbish has been removed. It did take a little while. It's a little tough to get laborers, but the properties are into compliance and frankly looking pretty good lately, to be perfectly honest with you. And they would request that the board does not impose liens for the two that are in compliance and maybe issue a continuance on the third one for the issue of the pool. As I said, they've made some steps. They've ordered cover. I think the wrong one is shipped or was just not satisfactory. So they're taking some good steps to get this property into compliance and just ask that you withhold imposing a lien.
Why?
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 It just becomes much more complicated. They also have issues with title once the lien gets imposed, if they want to take any equity out to do any further work.
I understand that part, but why should we help them on that when they took such effort to get them to get in compliance? Why should the board not impose liens?
Well, it just makes things more complicated. They're just trying to get the property into compliance, and more hurdles with them being, the more problems that we put on the properties, it just becomes harder for these property owners to get them, frankly, get it marketable and sold.
Are they
As I'm pretty
selling?
sure, what's that?
Are they selling?
Well, I don't know just yet, but I'm pretty sure that this, this is a vacant property, and, Seminole County would do better with this property either being owner-occupied or tenant-occupied, just going to be maintained better. I mean, it looks like it was previously a storage, and so just to get these properties towards marketable, to get basically we want to get this property into the best hands, and I don't think that, this property might not be the best. So imposing liens just makes it more complicated to get it marketable and into the better hands.
Why has it taken this amount of time to get the two items that are in compliance now? Why has it taken?
It would be, I don't really have a great answer. It would be speculation. I know they tried to get help from neighbors and such. They're just having a tough time getting people to move these.
Has
large
Mr. McElhaney or whatever, has he been the owner the whole time, or is he a new owner? What situation there?
Since the violations, are you saying?
Yeah, since the original violations were noted, has he been the owner the entire time?
To best of my knowledge. I don't have any information that would change that.
Ms. Ames, you have a question?
Yes. Mr. Termina, the fines for the 3 violations total $58,350. Do they intend to pay those fines regardless of whether we do liens?
I think they would probably be asking for reductions.
The total, I think, is higher than that.
It's even higher than that. I know
Yeah.
that was just the basic.
One's 37,000.
My issue is you don't get to those fines like that. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of negligence to get that far. And I still don't have I haven't been given any reason why we should just say, oh, okay, and forgive it, which is what you're asking us to do.
Well, at this point, I'm just asking for the liens not to be imposed. We would probably eventually ask for forgiveness, but I'm not right at that stage yet.
There's no teeth to the fines without the liens.
I think the officer has something she'd like to add.
Officer Hill.
So I am not asking for a deduction to administrative costs. This house has been vacant for many years. When I opened the case back in March of 2021, I only heard from the property owner, Mr. McLeany, one time, and that was back in April. After that, I had no correspondence between he and I. The property was also abated by the county in reference to the unsecured pool. The county had to go out there quite a few times because the neighbor kept cutting the gate to get into the pool area. He at one time had tried to turn the pool area into a koi pond minus the koi. And the water was clear for a little while, but then he removed all the lily pads and it became stagnant again. So he's been back and forth into this property. He kind of uses it as his own because it's been vacant for so many years, and I believe he's the one that has been slowly cleaning it up. Prior to my case, the previous officer had gone out there because he was storing his pigs out on this property. So this property has been vacant quite a long time, and that's why I am not asking for a reduction to administrative costs.
Thank you for that information. I was going to ask, normally we would give strong consideration if there were attempts made throughout to, when it comes in compliance, to reduction to admin costs, but that's why. Thank you for that information. So, I guess we take these one at a time?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
you can start with,
2167.
which is page 7, where they're asking for additional time to come into compliance, or you can not do that and go ahead and impose the fine, which doesn't mean that they can't still come into compliance. It just means that the fine continues to accrue until they do.
Yeah, it starts today, right? After March 24th, or it starts tomorrow, $250 a day?
The lien would be
The
placed on
additional
it.
fines.
The additional fines, yes.
So is there any more discussion or a motion on case number 21-67?
I make a motion, we put a lien on it.
So to accept the staff's recommendation?
Yes.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Hames, second by Ms. Patton to accept staff's recommendation, imposing a lien of $37,750. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Case number 21-69, CEB. This is the one recommendation, again, is to impose a lien $13,600. This is in compliance, and we just heard the reason why there's not a strong recommendation for a reduction in fees on this. However, the choice is the board's.
Motion to accept status recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Patton, second by Ms. Ames, accept status recommendation, imposing a fine of $13,600 for 136 days non-compliance. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And then case number 21-70, CEB, staff's recommendation, imposing a lien for $7,000, 140 days non-compliance. Is there a motion on this one?
I make a motion to accept staff's recommendation.
Motion by Ms. Hames, second by Mr. Peterson, to set status recommendation, imposing a lien for $7,000 for 140 days non-compliance. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That's what we've done, sir. We've accepted status recommendation on all three of these. You sort of heard the reasons why, and I appreciate your time coming down here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Brings us to the other present case. It's going to be found on page 3. Case number 20, two cases. So it's going to be page 3 and 4. First one is 21-33 CEB, Christopher Bedoin, James A. Worstel, 305 Miller Road, Sanford, Florida, 32773. Second case, 21-34, same respondents, same address. Officer Bavaro, if you want to present both of those cases. Do we have...
The respondent is here.
Yeah, the respondent here for this case, Christopher Bedoin. Are you here to speak on behalf of that?
Yes, sir.
If you step up here, and we need to make sure we swear you in.
She was sworn in.
She was.
Okay. And what was your name, ma'am?
Jamie A.
Thank you.
Still, I'm his wife. What would you like me to go get?
Either one of those two seats there would be fine. Again, we're going to present both of these cases, and then you'll have an opportunity to speak to both of those when we get done with that. Thank you. Officer Bavaro, whenever you want to start.
Thank you. Officer Bavaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement. Case 2133 CEB, Christopher Boyden and Jamie A. Worstel. This case was originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on August 26, 2021. An order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of September 23, 2021. Affidavit of noncompliance was filed by myself after reinspection on September 28, 2021. On December 2, 2021, the Code Enforcement Board issued an order continuing this case until March 24, 2022. Based on the findings and facts, conclusions of law and order issued on August 26, the Code Enforcement Board issued an order imposing a lien in the amount of $18,200 for $182 of noncompliance from September 24th, 2021 through and including March 24th, 2022. And the fine shall continue to accrue at $100 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after March 24th, 2022.
Thank you. One moment, please. Do you recall the background on why we continue this case from December until now? I don't remember.
So when it came in December, it was here for a lien request.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe it was here for a lien request. So there wasn't much progress, if anything, made up until recently, and the board, I think, was granting them an opportunity to make some progress,
Okay,
if I had to summarize.
thank you.
May I?
I'll give you in just a
Yes,
moment,
sir.
ma'am. Go ahead with the second case.
Officer Bavaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement, Case 2134 CEB, Christopher Bowden and Jamie A. Worstel. Properties located at 305 Miller Road, Sanford. This case was originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on August 26, 2021. An order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of September 23, 2021. Affidavit of noncompliance was filed by myself after reinspection on September 28, 2021. On December 2, 2021, the Code Enforcement Board issued an order continuing this case until March 24, 2022, based on the findings and facts, conclusions of law and order issued on August 26, 2021. Request the Code Enforcement Board issue an order imposing a lien amount to $18,200 for 182 days of noncompliance from September 24th, 2021 through and including March 24th, 2022. And the fine shall continue to accrue at $100 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after March 24th, 2022. Now, if you look at this image, so that originally, if you go a couple back, there was a couple of vehicles there, right there. There was a big box truck there. There was a Mustang that was inoperable. There was another black car there. I did a couple of re-inspections. I did one on 217, and then another one on 311. The box truck was removed. The green Mustang in this case was put under a tarp. You can still see, though, that there is a flat tire on the green Mustang, and there's another black vehicle, which I cannot determine is junked at this time, but it appears that it hasn't moved in quite a long time. The structure originally was, the bigger issue was the carport. Since some of the vegetation has been knocked down and some progress was made, I can now see that it extends past the carport into the structure itself. I did check today to see if any building permits were pulled, and no permits were pulled as of today. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Bavaro?
Just quick, is this property abandoned?
No, ma'am.
No, you live there.
We work, yes, ma'am. We work.
Okay, we'll get to you in just a moment.
Yes, sir.
To my knowledge, nobody occupies this property. I believe the respondent lives out of the county.
We come
We'll
home.
we'll let you talk in just a moment. Any other questions for Officer Bavaro?
So what exactly is the progress that's been made since we were here in December?
They got rid of a couple of the junked vehicles. They weren't cited for the vegetation because there was a Scribner's error in the issue, but they're working towards that. So there's no other violations on the property except for the junked vehicle, which as of right now is the green Mustang, and then the remains and rubble of a structure. I believe the respondent's husband testified prior that they did put up like a post to kind of stabilize the carport, and that's when I suggested they contact the building division to maybe pursue a permit. And again, as of today, there's been no permit issued, according to the property appraiser's site.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Worstel, this is your opportunity to speak on behalf of everything you've just heard here today.
Yes, sir. The bread truck's gone. The boat's gone. My son's car is not inoperable. He passed away. I just got his, you have to forgive me. I've been in a truck driving here since 9:30 a.m. We've gotten all the rubble pretty much gone. All the properties cleaned up, mowed, pretty. We've been working on the carport. The two of us cleaning up and salvaging what roofing sheets we can. My son's car there again, like I say, I put a cover on it. It's going to be moved because I just got his pickup truck out of the mechanic shop yesterday. Today's the first day that I've been in it since he passed. My husband and I are trying desperately to make y'all happy and get it pretty, and I want it to be prettier than it was when I met him. I want it to be nice. It should be nice. It was built by Mr. and Miss Peters. That was their first home when they married at 18 and came from Canada. And the last time I saw them years ago, they were in their 90s, and she'd had strokes, and they're fine people. And he built that house himself. He built every bit of that himself. So we've tried to keep what he built intact. I've given the little car you're talking about, it's going to Austin Scott. They were going to pick it up this past weekend, but because my husband's water fuel pump went out on his truck, we didn't have a way to get there this past weekend for him to get her. They'd be gone too. There's one other boat that needs to go, and it's going next door to Ariana Scott's young man. He took the red boat, he's salvaging them and the metal and this and that and whatnot and doing what he does for a side on his job. So that'll take care of all that. My son's car will be moved under the carport on the right side when I'm finished getting that cleaned out. We come home every week after work. We work in Clearwater, and we have a little teeny shop. It's just me and him. And we work. As soon as we get done work and close the shop, we come home. We're here, and we leave. We get up 5:30 Tuesday morning, so that whatever the traffic is, we can drive back over there to go to work again. Other than that, we're home. Now, I will tell you, since December 22nd, our house has been broken in 2 more times. 2 more times. They even stole my baby outfit. Both my babies came home from the hospital in that my little sister worked babysitting at 14 and bought for me. They took our wills, they took my savings bonds, they took everything. My mama's sterling silver water pitcher, my mama's Singer sewing machine still in the box that was making curtains with, new curtains. We come home one time, the bedroom, the sliding doors of the bedroom was wide open, cold winds blowing through like ice. The front door's unlocked. The drawers have been emptied out of every bedroom drawer. One of my mama's purses is laying on the bed out of the dresser drawers. We have been working every minute. I've gone from 143 pounds to 127 pounds doing this, and I'm going to keep on doing it if I'm down to 90 pounds. My husband and I are not going to stop working on this, and we work every free minute we have. We burn off the old wood, everything, so we don't even put it out there for the garbage men to have to mess with. We don't bother anybody. We never have in all these years. And there's nobody in our neighborhood bothering us. Our neighborhood doesn't even understand, you know, because it's real country. It's real country on that road. We're the only ones that even have a carport. There's nobody on that road that has a carport. And we're trying to do the best we can with us to do what we can and then figure out who we got to hire. But we've been waiting on the money for our property that they wanted to buy for the bridge since November. And I've talked to Ed several times, and I said, Ed, darling, I said, if we don't get that money, we can't fix it. We can't do what we need to do. It's preventing us from being able to not have that money that we're owed so we can hire somebody. The Scots, of course, just giving them everything, said they were going to help, but of course they've never showed up when it comes time to work. Everybody swears they're going to help, but
Ms.
nobody
Worsdale,
shows up.
I have a quick question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm trying to understand, did you sell the property back in November? You said you're waiting on the money.
Yes, ma'am.
What money?
Money, they bought property from us to redo the bridge with that FEMA project.
You mean the county bought property?
No, ma'am. Maybe it is the county. I don't know. I know the engineer. His name's Ed Barrington.
I'm just curious, but where the money is coming from and what the
They were
likelihood.
going to pay us $5,000 for the land that they wanted. 'Cause we own both sides of the creek. We own all the way up to that mobile home up in the front, actually. And Ed told us, you know, we'll be getting our money. And I said, Ed, we have to hire help. We don't have anybody to help us. I'm nearly 68. He's almost 69. And I'm disabled. And I said, I crawl in that yard, ma'am. I don't care if I can't walk. You don't understand. I crawl and pick up stuff. I crawl and pull weeds. I crawl and clean up stuff. I'll do whatever Jesus lets me. If I have to do like a snake on the ground.
Mr. Chairman, can we find out from the county, is it the county that purchased her property? Is that?
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. Okay.
But without that money, we don't have any money. The COVID wiped us out in our business. We were at a loss last year. We've lost the last 2 years. We haven't made a dime. Our Social Security checks are going just to keep the door open. We're trying just to survive.
It's just the two of us. Our children are dead.
Ma'am, take a break a second. Take a breath. It's fine.
I'm sorry, sugar. It's just, you have to understand.
Just.
It's the first
just
time
take a
I've been in
breath.
my boy's truck since he died. And I have cried since 9:30 this morning till I pulled up in the yard.
Mr. Bavaro, you said that there is progress being
Because I
made.
feel him everywhere around me, but I can't see him. And I need him.
There was some progress
I need him.
made from what I saw a couple months ago. So you continued it in December. February, when I did a reinspection, just a random reinspection, that's when I notated some progress. There was slightly
That boat's
more
gone.
progress when I went out there on 3/11/2022. But I'll remind the board that this case did come in on a complaint, and it was opened on 3/11/2020.
Can I tell you where the complaint came from, sir? My girlfriend made notes of it. There's a man, I didn't know nothing about it because I'm not know much about computers. I know just enough to be dangerous to that poor machine myself in the world, truthfully. But here are a copy of all of what the man has been doing. My girlfriend and her husband live on 10 acres I bought years ago over in Osteen and off of Maytown Road, off of Pell. And they live out there because the doctors told her if she stayed where she was in Pinellas Park, she owns a 5-bedroom home there, that she'd die in 6 months. So they've been living there, and we've started a farm. And this man, whoever he is, he went online and found out that we own 305 Miller Road, and so he not only attacked us at Osteen, but here's all the proof of where he attacked us on 305 Miller Road.
Yeah, and at the time of the complaint, we were accepting anonymous complaints.
Yes, sir, that's
So
why
I
they
don't
changed the
have-
law.
I don't have any information on who complained. I know that it was.
And you will never get that
I
information.
think if there is progress being made, and she's saying they're going to continue making
We're not going to
progress,
stop.
that maybe we should kick it out another 3 months just to check the progress
I'm not going
again,
to stop till that place is pretty.
if you're okay with that.
It's the board's pleasure. It's in the board's hands now.
Motion to continue this another 3 months to check progress again. I want to reward progress.
Okay, and that,
Second.
let's get a date here.
3 months.
I don't think there's a hearing in June, however.
So it would kick
Ma'am,
you
I
out to
pushed that
either
lawnmower till I
May,
fell to the ground and
May
praise the
Ma'am,
Lord.
I'm
20
taking care of you, so I'm recommending you just take a breath, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
it's either May 26th or July 28th.
Let's do July 28th.
Motion on the floor to table this until our July 28th meeting. Is there any discussion or a second?
Are you talking about both cases?
Yes.
Thank you.
I second it.
Case number 2133, motion to table this until our July 28th meeting by Ms. Patton, second by Ms. Hames. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Case number 21-34, same motion by Ms. Patton, second by Ms. Hames. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Both those motions carry.
Thank you,
Ma'am,
Jesus. Thank you,
what this
Lord.
board has done is move this case once more
Yes, sir.
to July 28th.
Yes, sir.
I suggest you put a big X on your calendar in...
Oh, I put a big excellent on for today.
Okay, let me finish here real quick. You need to stay in contact with Officer Bavaro
Okay.
because you've been through this. This case started in 2020. September last year is when you got cited. You were given, listen to me.
No,
don't-
sir.
No, just listen to me for a minute.
Yes, sir.
You were given a certain amount of time, didn't meet it. December 2nd, hearing, didn't meet it, and moved to March, and you still didn't get the stuff done. So there's stuff that, I don't know if you're not aware of it, but stay in contact with him.
Yes,
You
sir.
need to understand what needs to be done by July 28th. 'cause
Can I get your number, sir?
Ma'am, can I finish? Because I don't think the board's going to reconsider on July 28th when you come back. That's when you
Yes,
come
sir.
back.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
So after we get done here, which we're done, you can go and you can speak with Officer Bavaro.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you for coming in today.
No, thank you.
Okay, I don't believe we have any more people present. Bring us to the beginning of the Mr. Bates, you still have time. It's 2:16. I'm keeping an eye out for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Brings us to page 2, case number 22-21 CEB, Maria and Abel Gabort, 1365 North County Road 426, Oviedo 32765. Officer Hill.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. I am submitting a copy of this PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2221 CEB, Maria and Abel Gabort, located at 1365 North County Road 426. Violation charge of Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 7, Section 30.122, uses permitted. Occupying campers, RVs, shed, van are not a permitted use in an A1 zoning district. My initial inspection was on September 30th, 2021, with notice to respondent on October 1st and October 26th, 2021. Compliance dates was October 15th and November 10th, 2021, with multiple follow-up inspections, and the last one was conducted by alert on March 21st, 2022. Results of my alert's inspection was the violation of occupying campers, RVs, and sheds remain on the subject property. These photos were taken on my initial inspection on September 30th, 2021. The photos were taken on the same day. The photo on the right where the red arrow is showing that there is somebody inside that van, and that van also has an air conditioning unit on top. These photos were taken on the same date, showing an RV hooked up. These photos were taken on the same day on a neighboring property. They granted me permission on the right. That photo shows a cutout into the RV with an AC unit placed in there. These photos were taken on the same date. This is another RV, and then right next to that are a couple of sheds with air conditioner units. These photos were taken on the same day as well. These photos were taken on October 18th, 2021, with hookups to the RV. These photos were taken on October 18th as well. And the one on the right, were sewage pipes coming from the RV. The photo on the left is the sewage hookups. Another in the middle of the with the RV extended, and the one on the right there is a hose hooked up. Looks like kind of like a water heater to that RV. This photo was taken by alert on October 19th, and there's an arrow showing there on the farthest on the left is the RV, in the middle is an air-conditioned van that was occupied, then another RV, another camper, then one more, and then two sheds. And this photo is of the two sheds and one of the RVs. You see there's an umbrella and a little setup right outside that camper. These photos were taken on October 19, 2021, as well as from the backyard by alert. These photos were taken on November 12, 2021, with the hookup and the sewage still attached to the RVs. These photos were taken on November 12th. There's a motorcycle up next to one of the RVs, and there was a gentleman on his phone talking while I was out there doing an inspection. These photos were taken by alert. These photos were taken on the same day. You see on the left-hand side where the arrow is pointing is a gentleman pulling up on a motorcycle. And the one on the right showing he's driving further into the backyard on his motorcycle. So it show that he has arrived at his camper and he's about to enter into his camper. And that's when he is entering into his camper. These photos were taken on the same date. So it was taken on the same date. The blue arrow is pointing to a side-by-side refrigerator that is out there between the camper and the two sheds. And then the red arrow is pointing to the little setup they have out there with the umbrella and the grill, etc. This photo was taken on March 10th, 2022 of my posting. These photos were taken by alert on the 21st of this month, and I labeled them. On the left side, you have 1 RV, 2 the van, 3 another, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I did contact Seminole County Health Department to go out and do an inspection because part of the complaint came in as the complainant her lawn guy had smelled some sewage. So I contacted Ms. Joyce Biddle, who is an environmental specialist too. Unfortunately, I asked her if she would be able to come to testify about her experience out there. Fortunately, she had a doctor's appointment today and could not be here. I would like to read into record what she would have said if she was here, if that's allowed, and then I'll submit it into evidence. So when she went out to do her inspection, she met with a person who talked with her who represented himself as the owner and gave her a different name. He came to speak with her and kept getting closer to her to show her all his scars and explain that he and his tenants had COVID, the Delta variant. I had to be tested for COVID to make sure he did not give it to me as I take care of my 86-year-old mother, and I also conduct inspections at nursing homes with immunocompromised people. I did not want to infect anyone if he gave me COVID, which is why I got tested. I felt like this man was threatening me as he did not want me on his property to look at the sanitary nuisance. I believe the sanitary nuisance is valid because of the fluid on the ground at the back of the camper, which I viewed through the neighbor's fence, and due to the number of these complaints I have looked at over 30 years. I have a doctor appointment today, but I hope my complaint investigation notes are helpful to you. I did not go back to reinvestigate as I felt this man threatened my health, that of my family, and those that I need to inspect. So she conducted her inspection on September 30th, 2021. She went to the complainant's home and the complainant stated that her neighbor has rented out RVs and she's concerned about where the sewage is going because her lawn man had smelled the sewage odor near the fence and she saw water under the RV through the fence. So Ms. Biddle drove next door and saw a man in the driveway at 1365 North County Road 426 and asked if he was the owner, and he said he was the tenant. I asked for the name and phone number of his landlord. He asked me to wait at the beginning of the driveway. I waited at the driveway and saw the sign on his gate, "I don't call 911 with a gun" picture. A man slowly came down the driveway to speak with me. I introduced myself from the health department and he wanted to know why I was there. He was not wearing a mask and neither was his tenant. I explained I received a complaint about the sewage from his RV campers. The man said he was running a B&B and that nobody used the RV campers to go to the bathroom. I asked if he had a pump out receipt from disposing of the sewage from the RVs. He stated the only one he has was from when his house was pumped out. And he explained that no water from the RVs she explained that no water from the RVs are allowed to go on the ground. I asked if people used any water in the RVs, and he said no. I re-asked, so they don't take showers the entire time they stay there? He said no. I asked if I could come into his yard to look at the RVs, and he said no. He moved closer to me and pointed to a scar on his knee and lifted his shirt to show me a scar on his abdomen, stating that he had problems walking due to his scars, for which he needed more surgery. And he stated as he moved closer to me that people inside his compound all had COVID as well as himself. Then he added he was positive today with the Delta variant of COVID and again moved closer to me. Then he added as I was backing away that he had large dogs in his backyard as well, and today was not a good day. I got his phone number and said I would call, and I left. She contacted her HR department to let them know that she was exposed to go have a COVID test. So I'm submitting this into evidence. This is not I have not had any contact with the property owner since the beginning of my case, but last year I did speak with him because I did get a complaint for the same issue, the same violation, and he had told me at the time that his son works for an RV establishment, and so he does run an Airbnb. I told him he cannot run an Airbnb from campers. It has to be from the main structure. And the reason why I was notified of this violation at the time is because we had responded out to a disturbance at that location. So he did come into compliance, but now he is now out of compliance again, and I have had no correspondence from him this time around. Just recently, at the beginning of this month, deputies were responded in reference to a battery at this location, and between one of the tenants and his sister and another tenant. There were no charges brought against the tenant's sister for the battery, but the tenant was arrested on a different warrant. This concludes my presentation.
What's your recommendation?
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. So it's further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct the violation On or before midnight of April 25th, 2022, in order to correct the violation, the respondent must cease and desist from residing inside the campers, RV, shed, and van, remove all hookups, and close up all campers and RVs. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $100 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Might I remind the board that we can go as high as $250 on a fine,
And you can change the date.
and we can change the date of compliance. So,
I have a question for
yes,
Officer Hill.
Officer, Ms. Hames.
Officer Hill, so are there separate owners of these 7 vehicles?
That I don't know. I don't have access to see if there's any tags or run any tags back there because I don't have access to the backyard. It is fully gated. I can only see a little bit from the complainant's yard, but not enough to see any tags. I'm not sure who owns them, but he does rent them out.
So you think Mr. Gabort owns them, or he's in charge of renting them out? He's the property manager, if
He
you
is the
will?
property owner where all these are located at.
Uh-huh, gotcha. Is there a permanent structure on that property?
The residence, there is a primary residence on that property.
And he lives in that house?
As far as I'm aware.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank whoever took the time to write that long
Yes.
informational letter. Very informative.
That was very helpful.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any discussion, motion?
Make a motion.
Mr. Peterson?
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we raise the fine to $250 a day after that date of April 25th.
Thank you. Motion with a compliance date of April 25th. However, fine would be $250 per day. Is there a second?
I'll second that, yes.
Mr. Peterson made the motion, second by Ms. Hames. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Brings us to page 5 and 6, case number 2146 and 2147. Ollie L. Russell, 807 Cherokee Circle, Sanford 32773. Officer Bavaro, go ahead and read them both.
Okay, Officer Bavaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, case 2146 CEB, Ollie L. Russell, property is located at 807 Cherokee Circle. This case was originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on August 26, 2021. An order was issued given the response to compliance date of September 9th, 2021. An affidavit of non-compliance was filed by myself after September 14th, 2021. Based on the findings and facts, conclusions of law and order issued on August 26, 2021, the Code Enforcement Board issued an order imposing a lien in the amount of $19,600 for 196 days of noncompliance from September 10th through and including March 24th, 2022. And the fine shall continue to accrue $100 a day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after March 24th, 2022. Officer Bavaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, case 2147 CEB, Ollie L. Russell, property is located at 807 Cherokee Circle. This case was originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on August 26, 2021. An order was issued given a respondent compliance date of September 9, 2021. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the officer after a reinspection on September 14, 2021. Based on the findings of facts, conclusions of law and order issued on August 26, 2021, the Code Enforcement Board issued an order imposing a lien in the amount of $9,800 for 196 days of noncompliance from September 10, 2021 through and including March 24, 2022. And the fine shall continue to accrue at $50 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after March 24th, 2022. I did do a reinspection a little bit more than 10 days ago on the property, and there is absolutely no change. I have not heard from the property owner ever. Last time I was out there a year ago, the tenant was there. I explained to her the issues of the violation, and she said they're moving out of state. It really wasn't her problem.
Thank you. Any questions, Officer Bavaro? Seeing none, we'll take them one case at a time. There's two of them. Case 21-46 CEB, The recommendation is imposing a lien of $19,600.
I move the staff's recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bates, second by Ms. Patton, accept staff's recommendation as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 21-47, staff's recommendation is imposing a lien of $9,800.
Move the staff's recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bates, second by Mr. Peterson, to accept staff's recommendation imposing a lien of $9,800. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brings us to page 10, case number 22-08, CEB Norma Lundy, 1226 Flint Trail, Geneva, 32732. And there's one more, same respondent, same address, case number 2209, CEB Officer Hill, if you want to present both of those.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. This was just a special request by the property owner's son and her fiance. They are not here. So I do not have a case to present.
Okay.
So they take no action. Nothing to do.
No action on either one of those cases. And that concludes the agenda of cases. There's some that were not heard by the board for the reasons noted. Which brings us to the approval of the minutes, February 24th, 2022. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Peterson, second by Ms. Hames. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then confirmation date of our next meeting would be April 28th, 2022. If anybody has any issues with that, please notify Madam Clerk. And then is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bates, second by Ms. Hames to adjourn. Thank you.
Well, that was quick. You're right.
Yeah, not too